Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. We're going to dive into the next part of our Arkham Horror 3rd Edition playthrough. There is two things I want to square away before we get into the playthrough, so let's get right into those two corrections. The very first correction I want to make is with Calvin in regards to around the 42-minute mark of the last video where we had two of these cultists show up at this particular site here when we flipped and revealed this token with Calvin here. And what happened was both of the individual cultists showed here, and when they do, if a cultist shows up in its ready state for any reason in the same space as an investigator, it automatically engages that investigator, and so the high priest should have also engaged Calvin at the same time that I already did the robed figure one. And as of right now, just so you guys remember, we have 3 monsters on Calvin right now already. Robed figure was one of the ones that came from this particular marker along with the high priest, and now the high priest is going to join that pile. But the one thing I have to do to correct things is I'm going to have to flip it over and take a look at the bottom left hand corner. It's going to do 1 health hit to Calvin, so we're going to be giving Calvin an additional hit of damage. So this is where Calvin currently stands. He has 1 damage on his Elder Sign amulet as well as 2 sanity. If he takes 1 more health on that particular card, that card is removed. The reason why I don't want to do that when I'm taking this 1 damage right now is if I do that, I lose this really cool ability on this amulet, which says once per round, if 2 or more horror would be dealt to this card, we can prevent one of the horrors. So what I'd like to do is be able to continue using that ability to deal with horror and mitigate it. And what I want to do is I want to actually use Calvin's ability maybe later in the round, his action I should say, which is a really good one. It says you may exchange any amount of health and or sanity with another investigator or ally in any space. So I can essentially exchange my damage in either health or sanity and move it over to Agnes, meaning I can free this Elder Sign amulet up. I wouldn't want to put that there for this, so I'm going to actually assign this 1 damage straight to Calvin. This is actually the first time Calvin's been hit because he's got such great cards between Until the End of Time right here, which is fully maxed out and again can never be discarded, and the Elder Sign amulet, which can be discarded if I happen to put another health on there. If at any point in time one of those 2 at the bottom are matched, that card gets tossed. So we're putting the 1 damage straight on Calvin's card, and that's going to resolve that correction. The next correction I want to make is about drawing tokens from the Mythos Cup. There's been some discussion online as to how those are supposed to be resolved, whether the investigators are pulling 2 tokens, which they are stated right here as doing, and then resolving them in any order that they choose, or if they're supposed to be pulling 1 token out, resolving it, and then pulling another token out and resolving it. The wording on this is a little bit fuzzy. It leans more towards, in my opinion, pulling a token out and then looking at it, resolving it, and then pulling another token out, looking at it, resolving it. That's how we did it in the first part. I changed it up in the second part because I started doubting whether I was doing it correctly, and then I realized quickly that there's actually a lot of discussion about this and whether or not the game designer, Nikki Valens, intended for there to be some type of strategy involved with which token you resolve first. Now this is Arkham Horror, so my assumption would be the harder path is the true path. So technically whatever path's going to make life more miserable for you is technically the one that's usually correct, especially when we're talking about Arkham Horror. So for the rest of this particular playthrough, and at least until things get cleared up either through the forums or an FAQ, and I hear of it, we're going to go ahead and draw 1 token at a time, resolve it, and then draw another token and resolve it for each investigator. So we're going to start off the action phase with going with Agnes. Agnes, you need to help Calvin out. He's got 4 monsters on him right now. The worst of the 4 is the Keening Hound. It has 2 health hits and a sanity at the very bottom that it will do to Calvin. The rest are kind of hitting for 1 health, 1 sanity, but man, if that Keening Hound hits, it's going to be bad news for him. He's really going to be hurting. So I'm going to try to see if I can have Agnes move over there and do as much damage to that thing as possible, and then maybe Calvin will be able to clean it up on his turn with 2 attacks. Because remember, Calvin's engaged, so when you become engaged, the only actions you can do is focus, attack, and evade. And I think evading is kind of pointless because he would have to essentially roll extremely well when he tries to evade, and based on the observation, you typically, when you're doing an evade action, what ends up happening is you're going to go ahead and roll and you're picking the worst observation modifier across all the monsters that are engaged with you, which is for me -2, and Calvin's a 3 for observation, so that's really not going to help out very much. And of course, every success would evade a monster. There's no way with 3 -2 and only 1 die that he'd be able to evade all the monsters. So evading's kind of pointless. It more makes sense to try to attack at this point, just because he is truly overwhelmed. So Agnes is going to go ahead and move 2, so 1-2. She's heading from the police station over here to Independence Square to help out Calvin, and she is definitely going to go ahead and engage the worst one, the Keening Hound. So she's taking the Keening Hound, and we are going to go ahead and make an attack against it. So Agnes Baker's strength is 2, so we're going to start off with a roll of 2 for her strength attack. And again, remember, she has that wither spell, so as part of an attack afterwards, I can choose to use the wither spell and be able to roll some dice to see if I can add damage to it. If I do, after I cast a spell, my ability with the heirloom that she has allows me to focus a skill of my choice, and I will absolutely be focusing her lore up higher so that she's even more powerful with that ability. So let's go ahead and roll for 2 strength here and see whether she makes any hits go through on this nasty, nasty Keening Hound. Are you serious? We got a 5 and a 6? Holy, okay, well, we're definitely going for it. Let's go ahead and use the Wither spell. So the Wither spell right here will cost her a sanity, which she will take. So she's going to take 1 sanity damage in order to do this. Now, just so you guys are reminded of how much she currently has, because this is off camera, she currently has 3 sanity, and she has a total of 6 that she can take. She has 1 health. So that's not too terrible. This is more than worth it. So she's casting a spell now, and it says, as part of an attack action, you may test your lore -1 and add your test result to the test result of the attack action that we just got. So we're going to roll our lore -1. So our lore -1 is, and again, just so you guys know, the heirloom only is after you cast a spell that you get to focus a skill. So I can't do that in advance. That would be wonderful, but I can't do that. Against the rules. So we're going to go ahead with 3 dice, because it's 4 lore -1, and I get to add whatever I get success-wise to this test result. If I get super lucky and I get 2 hits here, guys, we could kill this thing in 1 attack, which would be phenomenal. What? What are the chances of that? It's amazing. Okay, so we have killed off the Keening Hound. Goodbye. That was the worst one of all of them. Knocking tokens off the table and everything. That's what happens when you get excited, when you kill one of the strongest monsters that your other investigator is facing. That's incredible. Wow, you don't roll stuff like that in Arkham very often. I can tell you that much. That is rare. Wow. Okay, so guys, we also just cast a spell. So her heirloom of her heirloom basically is going to activate now, which says after you cast a spell, you can focus 1 skill of your choice. I told you before, I'm going to go ahead and grab a focus token for lore. So Agnes Baker here has, as you can see, she's got 6 and 6. This is just a nice little reminder of the skills she's got, and she's going to go ahead and focus up her lore, so it gives her an extra die when she rolls that particular skill, which is awesome. She can also use that focus token to re-roll any skill, but then the token is gone. So she can roll basically use that token to spend and get rid of to roll an extra roll for any of the other skills she has. But I'm definitely going to keep that there for lore, because I just want her to have great lore. It helps with the wither spell and everything else. So that was a fantastic turn for her. She did exactly what she needed to do. Now we're going to flip it over to Calvin and see if he can be just as successful. Aha, one thing you don't want to forget when killing monsters is checking up that symbol in the top right hand corner. See, that is a remnant. So we're also going to give a remnant token to Agnes for her nice kill. So that's awesome. So she's actually got 4 remnant tokens now, which is quite a bit. And I'm kind of looking forward to being able to spend these. We should actually talk about those for a second so you guys understand a little bit more about when those are used. But we did see a little bit of this in part 1. They can be used as part of actual requirement to complete clue tokens at times. But there's other uses for them as well. So now that Agnes has gained another remnant, I really want to talk about something really cool about remnants. And it's so good for Agnes. Agnes is all about casting spells. And one of the coolest things you can use remnants for is you can use it to actually pay for the sanity you take to cast a spell. So remember how we just cast the Wither spell and took a sanity damage? Well, I'm doing this after the fact, but I wanted to show you guys how cool this ability really is, because I do still have 4 remnants on her, but I'm going to go ahead and spend one of the remnants I had prior to the one I gained in order to remove one of those sanity hits for the Wither spell that I just cast. So that's one of the cool things about remnants. They can be used in order to kind of ward away any nasty sanity. I shouldn't say ward, because ward's an actual action in this game, but basically remove any sanity that might be incurred based on the number of remnants you want to spend. So if you have a spell that costs you 2 sanity to spend, you can use 2 remnants to actually discount that down to 0 in terms of what you take for sanity damage, which is huge. So at the end of the day, Agnes not only succeeded in killing a massive monster, but also didn't take any damage whatsoever for doing it. So let's go over to the 3 monsters that he has to deal with. The first one is the High Priest, so we could choose to go after this one for one of his attack actions. It has a reward here that we would get a spell if we happen to kill it. We have the Eyeless Watcher. This one's really cool. It's actually a Watcher keyword, and we haven't seen these yet. This guy's been in play for just a bit, but is now engaged. And when it's engaged, it's considered a Watcher, so the monster does not restrict your actions, unlike basically every other monster in the game, or encounters. It just moves with you. So basically, you're able to go ahead, if this is the only monster on you, to continue to do all the actions that you'd want to do and not be restricted, but it's going to just move with you if you run to a different space. And whenever it engages, or basically activates, I should say, it's going to hit you for sanity. It's basically just watching you from a distance and messing with your psyche. It's kind of messing with your brain, as you notice it off in the corner there. And the robe figure is pretty straightforward. It's actually the weakest of all of them. It's a straightforward kill if we just get 1 health. So Calvin has 2 attacks and really wants to make sure he takes out probably the ones that are going to do the worst damage to him. Currently the thing that he can take right now without it hitting his card is sanity. If he takes a sanity hit, he can put it on his amulet, and it doesn't even do anything to his actual player card at all. So I think I'm going to leave the Eyeless Watcher on him. I'm going to take out the Robe Figure and the High Priest that both would do a single point of damage each if they were to engage with him. So the first one we're going to choose to go after will be the Robe Figure. This one's pretty easy, so it shouldn't be too bad. We're really just looking for 1 hit. Now remember, when I'm using an attack with Calvin, I'm going to be using his Spirit Dagger for sure, which gives me +2 as part of an attack action. His attack strength is 3, so we're going in with 5 dice. And I don't think... I can also suffer a horror to reroll any number of dice because I have the voice of the messenger. So let's see how we do here. We really only need one hit, so this could be very, very easy. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, no problem. I got 2 hits, so this guy is gone. The Robe Figure is destroyed. There's no remnant on this card, so that guy's out of play. Done. So we're down to 2 more monsters left on him, and we know which one we're going to attack next with his second action. He's going to go after, with a Spirit Dagger again, he's going to go after the High Priest, which he now needs a 2, but we lose one of our combat dice, so now he's down to a 4 going into this roll, but we need 2 successes, so this is a little bit more tough. Yeah, see, it was a little tougher this time around. We got 1 success, but we failed on the other 3 dice, so we still need to get 1 more hit, and I would like to do that. So what I could do is suffer a horror, and if I do that, then that kind of defeats the purpose of me trying to avoid getting horror. So that's kind of interesting. But then I don't take the health hit, which would go straight through to my character, and I've already got 1 health on Calvin, so, or 1 damage I should say. So maybe we should just take the sanity and re-roll it. It's still risky though, because I'm just re-rolling. It's not even guaranteed that I'll kill it. So that's the other piece of the picture that's kind of hard to know what's the right call there. Shoot, that is a tough one. I'm going to go ahead and risk it. I'm going to risk it. Let's take the sanity hit. We'll put it on the Elder Sign Amulet off camera here. I'm going to be re-rolling 1 die for that. And here we go. I'm using by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with which card I'm actually using off screen here, it's Voice of the Messenger. And it just says you can suffer a horror to reroll any number of dice. And, any number of dice. Well, never mind. I'm rolling all 3. I'm being silly. This is a perfect time to do that. And absolutely makes it much better option all of a sudden. Except when you roll a terrible result like that. 3, 2, and 3. Wow, I guess it didn't matter. So that's no good. So we ended up not killing the High Priest or the Eyeless Watcher, and they're still connected to us. That's unfortunate. So the monster phase is here. We have 2 monsters on the board. We'll activate the ones that are engaged with us in a bit here. The Occult Ritualist has just been sitting here dropping doom tokens for us the entire game long, just making our lives not so much fun as he continues to mess with us from afar. So where is he going to drop this next one? He could drop it at the Unvisited Isle, the Arkham Asylum, or the Labella Luna. Now if I put it over here, I then tap this area with 5, and we'd have to put an anomaly down. So that would be silly. So I don't want to put it on either one of these. It's going to have to go to the Unvisited Isle. But you can see the dilemma that's happening now. If I don't either clear Doom over here next turn, or, well, yeah, I'm in trouble because either way, one doom on either side of this is going to trigger an anomaly now, because if I get 3 at the unvisited isle, and there's nothing else below this, by the way, but if I get 3 there, that's going to trigger an anomaly. So I'm kind of putting myself into a tight situation. I may need to go in there and kill him off at some point too. I've been letting him just lurk around the streets for a little too long. The other guy that activates here is the rogue figure. So this is going to be, he's going to be going towards, he's patrolling. So he's trying to find the unstable space. And if he runs into any investigators, he'll engage them along his way. The unstable space is the graveyard. So the graveyard's actually down, oh, it's actually a little further away from us. So that works out pretty good. So he just moved a little bit further away. So that's fine. And now we're going to go ahead and deal with all the engaged monsters on just Calvin, because Agnes has done very well in killing off any engaged monsters with her, but Calvin has 2 to deal with. So Calvin's got the High Priest and the Eyeless Watcher on him, so they're going to go ahead and activate. They're engaged with him, so they're going to do a 1 damage, and then 1 sanity damage. So that's no fun. So we got tokens for both of those right here. I'm going to go ahead and put those on his player board. So Calvin has the Until End of Time, which is totally filled up. Elder Sign Amulet is 1 away from either health or sanity, removing the card forever. And his actual player mat, or his health himself, has 6 and 6, and he's got 1 damage already. Now I'm tempted to take this health and sanity and just put it on his player board, because I don't really want to put either of them on the Elder Sign Amulet and lose it. The reason is because if I can clear this by using one of his actions later on, I would be able to move some of this stuff off over to Agnes maybe and try to deal with it that way. And then the Elder Sign Amulet has a really cool ability that if I ever take 2 sanity or more, I can remove 1 if I put them on this card. So I almost need to basically be removing them off of this card as much as I possibly can. But at the same time, if things get really, really, really tough at some point, I might just say the heck with it. We fill this card up and get rid of it. But for now, I think we're safe still with 2 health over here and 1 sanity. But you can see he's getting very, very, very hurt and beat up. So now we're going to move into the encounter phase. Calvin doesn't get one because he's engaged with monsters, but Agnes will. And Agnes is in downtown, and they are in the Independence Square. So I'm going to grab the downtown and see. Maybe we'll get a clue. Who knows? Look at that. We got the clue. Nice. Okay, so today is the Arkham Art Fair. You may buy any number of Curo items from the display. Wow, that could be good. One artist is painting a futuristic cityscape, so use your observation. Okay, our observation is 2. That's actually really bad. So here's hoping that I can actually do decent with this roll. So, let's see if this goes well. Ah, okay, so I got 1. That's a success. If you pass, you realize the club is caught in a... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. If you pass, you recognize details that make you believe the city is Arkham. You gain 1 clue from your neighborhood. Yes. Okay, so we'll take that clue token. That's fantastic. We're going to add that to Agnes's card. So again, she's literally doing all of the work. Now we're going to go ahead and deal with the card after we've finished exhausting it for its clue. So because we got a clue from the downtown area and we used the card, we got it successfully. This is going to get discarded into the event card discard pile way over here. Nice. So we've got 4 clues. Remember, we needed 5 clues in order to get this ritual site to be, if we can remove 5 clues from the scenario card, we can stop the ritual, which is huge. So we could go ahead and do that if we get 1 more clue. So we can either head towards the anomaly, which is this way, down in Rivertown, and there's a clue down there too, or we could go to north side, which has 2 clues and a much higher chance of getting it. But we also have the monsters on Calvin we still have to deal with. But that is going to end the encounter phase, and now we're going to the oh-so-fun Mythos phase. So we'll start it off here with Agnes. Let's see how it goes. First pull. Nice, we got 1 of the newspaper tokens. Awesome. Let's resolve 1 of those for her. Remember, this is specific to her unless it says otherwise. Here we go. We got a wild animal attacks. Oh, no, that's not good. Cats, dogs, livestock attack. 2 missing persons blamed on animals. Wolves, bears, wildcats, likely culprits, please say. Headline, choose 1 non-epic monster in any space. You suffer damage equal to that monster's remaining health. Then you defeat it. Oh, okay. Cool. That actually works really well for us. Maybe the one we want to get rid of is the silly occult ritualist, which will just stop this whole issue from, well, it may not stop the anomalies completely, because we could pull a token here at some point that could totally screw us. The rogue figures on, again, it's saying anything that's currently on let's see, choose one non-epic monster in any space. That means nothing that's engaged with us. Sadly, I cannot kill something that's engaged with Calvin, so it can really only be the robed figure, which is down in the anomaly area, but that's a really easy character to kill. I think the Occult Ritualist is just the one that's out of the way, and I haven't bothered to kill it the entire game. So let's go ahead and deal the damage it would deal to us, which is just 1 sanity. So I'm just going to take that sanity on Agnes. We ended up kind of saving ourselves a sanity earlier. Let me see if I have anything here that can stop that. You can suffer damage instead of horror while casting a spell, right? I cannot do that to block that. So I just take 1 sanity. That's okay. I mean, it's probably better for her to take the sanity than... Well, I mean, it's not good for to take sanity or damage ever. She's halfway to going a little crazy. But we've done that. We've defeated it, and I don't believe... No, there's no remnant on that ritualist, so nothing else is done there. So that card has been resolved, and we'll go to her second token. Again, remember, guys, earlier in the video, I told you that we're going to resolve these one at a time as we pull them out of the bag. This one right here, ooh, that's not good. Well, we know what a gate burst is, and it's not fun, that's for sure. So that's this token we just saw here. So I'm going to fire this over to the pile of discarded tokens. I'm going to cry a little, but we're going to go ahead right now, and we're going to take the top card of the event deck, and we're going to see what we get. So the top card is North Side. So we got a little lucky, because if it had been downtown or even the Merchant District, we would have definitely been placing an anomaly, but this will not cause an anomaly. We have to go ahead now and put a token in every single neighborhood of this top card. So let's go ahead and start dropping Doom tokens like there's no tomorrow. All right, so we got our 3 Doom tokens, 1 for the Arkham Advertiser, the Curiosity Shop, and the train station. All right, doesn't push forward any anomaly there, but it's not really the greatest because I was kind of hoping to go there and go after the clues, but maybe there's a better reason to go there now because we can ward away some Doom at the same time. So that's not a bad idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to move over by taking the card, which is the North Side card we just got. We're going to take this card. We're going to take the discard pile, which is quite a large pile. We're going to shuffle these together, and then this pile that I'm shuffling, which is the whole discard pile and the card I just pulled off the top of the deck, and we're placing it at the bottom of the event deck. Again, it takes a little bit of getting used to and how these rules work and how you manage these event decks and stuff, but once you get this down, it really is easy. It just takes a game or so to really get it down. So I'm going to go ahead and now place this underneath the current event deck, which is right here. I'm placing it underneath like that, and we've kind of recharged that deck. All right, so let's move on to, I guess at this particular point, it's going to be Calvin's turn to reach into the Mythos Cup. So what wonderful things will Calvin find here? Oh man, I can only imagine. Yay, Reckoning! Not good. Okay, so let's take a look here at the scenario card. It says, for each cultist monster, place 1 Doom in its space. Okay. If it's in a street space, place the Doom in an adjacent neighborhood. So it's really good that we killed this guy, because that would have caused a Doom here or here, and we would have triggered an anomaly. So that was awesome to kill that off. The cool thing is the robed figure, which is over here to the far right off screen, is in a neighborhood that already has an anomaly. But remember, when there's an anomaly there and a Doom token is to be placed, it does not go in the neighborhood. It goes onto the scenario card. And there's already 1 Doom token on the scenario card, so now we have 2 Doom tokens there. So we simply add another Doom token to the scenario card, and if we get 3 on here, it says right here on Deja Vu that we're going to be going ahead and flipping this card. I've been trying to avoid that the entire game, and hopefully that does not happen, because I'm sure something nasty is waiting for us on the other side of that. But that's going to resolve the Reckoning trigger there, but we also have Reckoning triggers that involve a Dark Pact that one of you guys, or maybe a few of you guys, got me into at the beginning of this game. So a Reckoning isn't all bad, because I have this Until the End of Time card, and whenever a Reckoning occurs, I can remove 1 damage and 1 horror from this card, which actually frees up Calvin to take more sanity and health damage as he needs to with these monsters that are going after him. So that's actually a good thing. The bad thing is you guys put me into a Dark Pact condition early on in the playthrough, so I'm blaming you, and now I have to go ahead and roll a die. Now, if I mess up on this, I do have the ability to use Voice of the Messenger to re-roll it. So here's hoping I don't get a 1, but if I do, I'm going to have to re-roll this. Oh my gosh. Of course. So I could suffer one horror to reroll any die, any number of dice, and it says use this no more than once per roll. This allows you to reroll the die you roll for your dark pack. So I could do this right now. I could suffer a horror, which basically was the kind of defeats the purpose of what I just got there from the end of time. But you know what? I don't want the dark pack to trigger. Calvin's already in enough trouble with the monsters. Let's go ahead and take the sanity and let's reroll again. I cannot have Calvin go into a serious issue in the next round here. Okay, so I rolled that off screen. It's a 3, so a little bit safer. We're good for now, but you guys almost got me with that dark pack. So the other thing that we have to deal with is this one right here. There's a reckoning on the actual rumor we have here. And what does it say? Each investigator tests their will, and each investigator who fails places one doom in their space. Then any investigator may spend one clue to discard this card. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I don't want to burn clues on that. Okay, so we have to do our will checks, and oh my gosh, Calvin's is a 1. Oh, so... Okay, well, in that case, let's go ahead and roll 3 for Agnes, because she's got a 3 for her will, so she should be able to succeed at this check. Let's see how it goes. Yes, she did, but it took her 3 dice to do it. So she succeeded, that's good. And all we have to do is succeed. Otherwise, we got to place a doom. If we have to place a doom here, an anomaly is going to occur, and we're going to all have to blame Calvin for that. Oh man, so I could use Voice of the Messenger again if I fail on this roll to avoid that, but I mean, I don't really know if taking tons of sanity to avoid that. Oh, actually, it might be worth it, because I could, if I can get these monsters off me, if I could have Agnes activate and take out a monster, and then Calvin take out a monster, I could ward away the doom and stop an anomaly. You know what? It might actually be worth it. It might be worth it to try, but we get 1 die to roll. That's a ton, right? So let's go ahead and see how this works out. Yes! Super lucky. Okay. So, no issues with that particular rumor. Okay, so we can just move right along, and that's actually going to end that token that Calvin just pulled. So we're going to go ahead and grab the last token. This is actually the last token in the bag, and then we're going to have to reset everything back in again. And we got one of these. So this could be really bad, because this is a spread doom, which means we grab a card from the back of the event deck, where remember we shuffled all those cards and put them before, and whatever neighborhood is pulled from there, wherever there's a doom marker next to whichever particular place within the neighborhood gets a doom token. So we could end up getting an anomaly here in downtown. So here we go. We're going from the back, north side. Oh my gosh, am I ever lucky. So that's not going to cause an anomaly, but there's a doom token going at the train station. So let's go ahead and drop a doom token, another one at the north side. So one more doom token going for the train station. So now we have 4 doom in the north side. That escalated super fast. So now we have downtown in trouble. Merchant District is potentially in trouble if we get 1 more in the Unvisited Isle. That one's not as big of an issue. But really, north side's become an issue too. So downtown north side are more so likely to go into an anomaly. We'll take the card that we used to pull this and find out where the doom token goes. It gets discarded. So I'm putting it underneath the event deck. When I say underneath, I don't mean under the deck. I mean literally under the discard pile. It's the first discarded card going into this next one. So that's going to resolve this token, and now we're done. We've actually resolved all of the tokens. So, of course, when the Mythos cup is empty, you just go ahead and you'll dump all of the tokens back into the bag so we can pull from them, and we're going to start another round. Okay, because we know Agnes is amazing, she's going to go ahead right now and take on the Eyeless Watcher. She is going to pull this thing from, not only that, she'll get a remnant from it, and she can really use those well. She's going to drag the Eyeless Watcher over to her and engage it. So we're going to roll 2 for her strength like we did last time. Again, as you can see, there's no modifier negative on this one, so that's good. So we just need 3 to kill it. It's actually easier than the other one, but this is Arkham Horror, so my rolls were pretty lucky last time. Let's see how this pans out. So here we go. Okay, so we got 1 success and 1 miss, but that's good. So we're on our way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the Wither spell. I'm going to spend a remnant that she has to not take a sanity hit for that use of the Wither spell. And I have 5 lore now, remember, because I focused last time, which is pretty awesome. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and be rolling 4 dice to add this to my roll instead of 3, which is a much better chance of something good happening. I just need 2 successes and we kill this thing. No! So I got 1 success, which is not enough. Aha! I just realized something on Agnes's card here. She's got something on the top left that says, Blood is power. While casting a spell, if you suffer damage or spend remnants, you get an extra 2 lore. Now, we didn't need to use that ability the last time because we completely wiped it out, but right now we do. So I'm going to get to roll 2 more dice into this pile. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of these because I have one off screen here. We're going to take 2 and we're going to roll them to see if we land this. I should have done that with my other roll against the... what was that monster? That was the Keening Hound, but we didn't need it because we rolled so well. It wasn't even something I needed to even think about. But in this case, we do. So it's a free thing, so I'm going to use it because we did spend a remnant. So here we go. Ah, we still messed it up. Okay, so that's kind of it. I don't think I have anything else I could do. Now, the one thing I could do is I could burn my focus token in order to reroll a die. And it might be worth it because it's kind of on a loop because I have this heirloom. Because I actually cast a spell, I'll be able to focus it back and get it back again. So I might as well spend my token, my focus token for lore to reroll 1 die, knowing full well I'm getting it back anyway. So here we go. Oh my gosh, and I still can't roll. Okay, well, now I literally cannot kill the thing, but I did put 2 damage on it, and that was my first attack. So I guess it's not terrible. One other thing, guys, that I just realized while going through all of Agnes's cards, and I can tell you right now, she's got a lot of stuff she can do. She's a very powerful character. Is that I could have used the Flesh Ward earlier to stop Calvin from taking any damage. Once per round, if you, another investigator or an ally on any space would suffer damage, you may test your lore to prevent damage equal to your test results. So when Calvin took the horror damage, I could have rolled in order to try to block that, sorry, not the horror damage, the actual health damage. Because remember, we were deciding whether or not we wanted to put this on him or not. I could have actually tried to stop that, that 1 damage. And I could have done that multiple times in the past, but I chose not to. But now I probably should have. But going forward, I'm going to be remembering that skill and that ability. I'm not going to go retroactively do that because I did miss it the one time and chose not to all the other times. But I want to let you guys know I can do that. She's a really powerful character that way, and it'll come in super handy. If only I had more rerolls. I obviously burnt like every die in the game here trying to kill the thing. It did not work. So she still has an action to spend. So what I could do is I could do something like, well, technically now she's engaged and Calvin's engaged. Now, if I go ahead, I'm going to attack the High Priest. Because if I can kill the High Priest, then Calvin's free to maybe ward the doom away downtown and then just head into the north side. And maybe that's the best thing to do at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take on the High Priest with Agnes. So again, we're going to roll. It's going to be rolling 2. Oh, yes, sorry. And because we just cast the spell, we get our focus token back. We don't want to forget that. That's part of the heirloom. So here we go. 2 dice, a regular strength check. Terrible. Okay, so that's not how we want it to be. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to spend a remnant to avoid taking any sanity damage. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll 4 more dice. Because it's 5 dice for me minus... oh, sorry, guys. Actually, my mistake there. Whoops, my mistake. So what would have happened is I shouldn't have rolled 2 dice for a strength check. The High Priest has a -1 modifier. I should have only rolled 1. Didn't matter because I failed anyway, so it didn't break the game, but hey, that's something to remember. Now we're doing the lore check. I paid a remnant so I don't take a sanity. I have 5 lore and I think, yeah, I guess 5 lore. I get 5 dice. That's not bad. That's not a bad, that's really helpful. Is there anything else I can do? Oh, right, and wither's -1, so it's 4. Yes, I knew there was a minus in there for the wither. Okay, here we go. 4 dice. Can we pull this off? I just need 2. Yes, I got 3. Way more than enough. So the High Priest is dead. So we did kill 1. Good. No remnant gain from that, but I was able to successfully do it, so that's awesome. So she has done literally almost all of the work keeping Calvin alive. So her turn is now done. And we're going to move over to Calvin. So Calvin's free and clear to do whatever he wants. So it would probably make sense for Calvin to ward away some of this doom to avoid an anomaly from showing up in downtown. And then maybe he can move to the streets. But that's kind of... Oh, I can move the streets and maybe pay $1. Yeah, I could pay $1 to get past the streets and get into north side. Let's do that. So we're going to ward first. So we're going to test our lore. His lore is not that great. It's only a 3, but it's not that bad. But remember, he has the Spirit Dagger. And the Spirit Dagger gives him an extra 2. So he actually goes into this ward action with 5, which goes from being kind of weak to very strong. And here we go. So for every success, you're testing your lore to remove doom equal to your test result. So here's hoping. Nice. I got 3, so I actually removed 2 remnants, which are 2 doom tokens are gone. I gain a remnant for doing that, because whenever you ward away 2 or more doom in a space, you gain a remnant. Just so you guys know, Calvin has 3 remnants right now to himself, but he'd probably rather at some point trade those to Agnes, because he doesn't really cast spells. Did we also, I'm just going to check really quick, did we actually gain a spell? We killed the High Priest, and it was, it actually worked out really well because we forgot to give ourselves, we just killed this High Priest, Agnes did. We're supposed to gain ourselves a spell. So it says right down here at the very, very bottom, it says reward, I'm just trying to see if I can get this focus, after you defeat this monster as part of an attack action, you gain 1 spell. So let's go ahead and gain a spell. So what spell is Agnes going to get from the spell deck? It is, ooh, very cool, Shriveling. Shriveling. What is this going to do? So it's a ritual spell. Test your lore -1. One monster in your space or an adjacent space suffers damage equal to your test result. You can perform this action while engaged with a monster. Wow, that's awesome. That's super handy for her. She just got even more useful, and she just keeps on getting more and more useful. She might be my favorite character. Okay, so that was awesome, and I did that kind of retroactively. We're in Calvin's turn, but I had forgotten to give Agnes, from just her prior turn a few seconds ago, that Shriveling spell as a reward for killing the High Priest. So the only monster left on the board, guys, left is Eyeless Watcher, and just so you are aware, it's engaged with Agnes still. So Calvin just went ahead because he's free of engagements. He warded away 2 doom. He gained himself a remnant. He has 1 more action to spend. He's getting the heck out of there because he's been stuck there for a while. He's done it as something, at least with the doom. So he's going to head off here to the north side. See those juicy clues over there? That's a really good chance of getting them. So let's head over to that side of the board. So we're going to go ahead and have him go 1, 2, and I might as well head to where there's 2 doom because I can ward that away later. So we're going to spend $1 because Calvin's a rich individual in order to get over to the train station, and now he can go ahead and hopefully deal with that on a future turn, and he'll be able to encounter something at the north side there, and maybe with the odds of there being a clue thing there, he might be in a good spot to get another one. So now in our monster phase, we're going to go ahead and have the robe figure moved. It's all going to move based on the unstable space. And the event card that we discarded last time said it's the train station. So the unstable space is currently where Calvin just moved to. So our robe figure is going to move 2 in that direction. So it's going to go 1 and then over to the streets in between. Yikes. So Agnes has the Eyeless Watcher here on her, engaged, so 1 sanity hit to her. There's nothing she can do to stop that. So she's got 4 sanity on her and can take 6 at max. So it's getting a little dicey. She might want to try to head to maybe the Arkham Asylum to try to reduce her horror, but she doesn't have any money. And that's kind of a problem. But Calvin is a very rich individual, so it would have... I really wanted to get Calvin over there to stop the anomaly, though. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this is going to pan out. We're going to have to keep an eye on Agnes's sanity. So we know Agnes is engaged, so she cannot have an encounter, but Calvin can, and he's at the train station, and he's chomping at the bit to get this next clue. So let's see what happens. Yeah, we got the clue. The odds were in our favor with 2 of them being there. So at the train station, it says, how much do you love your fellow man? Wouldn't the earth be cleaner without them? You whirl around, but no one is there. You gain 1 clue from your neighborhood. Nice. So we get it right away. That's awesome. All right, and then it says... are you all right? You look pale. You're going to check your influence. So you're going to go ahead and check your influence, and for him, it's going to be 3, and he has nothing that he can do to change that unless he wants to use his voice of the messenger if he fails this. And he passed it, barely. It says, if you pass, you make a new friend. You gain 1 ally. We've never gained an ally before. That's amazing, and Calvin needed all the help he can get. He just gained this ally, and it came from the ally deck that has the blue back like this. Zora Larson, and it's an ally that is a secretary. Let me see if I can get this to focus for you guys. So as an action, an investigator or ally in your space recovers 1 sanity. Oh, that's good. And I can take sanity and health damage with this individual. So that was huge. That's really going to help out. Good timing on that one. Okay. Whew. All right, and that's going to end the encounter phase. We're going to go over to, oh, right, Mythos phase. All right, so Agnes is up first for the grab from the token bag, and the Mythos cup has been completely refilled from last time. So let's go ahead and pull one out. We got a Reckoning token. Oh my gosh, first one out of the gate. Okay, so we're going to go to the scenario sheet. So each cultist monster, you place a doom in their space. If they're in a street space, you place the doom in an adjacent neighborhood space. Okay, so basically how this is going to work is the rogue figure... Oh, this is bad. The rogue figure right now is in a street space between the merchant district and the river in Rivertown. If I place one over here on any space, it immediately goes to the scenario sheet. It's a doom token, and that will cause Deja Vu to flip. We do not want that to happen. Now, I can place this in any adjacent neighborhood space, which means I could also place this in Merchant District. I wouldn't want to place it at the Unvisited Isle, because if I put 3 Doom in there, automatic anomaly, but below it, at the TikTok Club, is where exactly I'm going to place this Doom token to avoid an anomaly. So, 1 Doom token going here, thanks to the robed figure. I just realized how bad this is again, because it looks like with Calvin being in the north side, that same rumor that's been sitting around forever, because now again guys, I went ahead and said after you go ahead and do it last time, I could have spent a clue to discard the card, but I didn't want to because I'm trying to progress the story. I have 5 clues now, so I decided not to do this, and sure enough it came back around and bit me. And I have to do will tests right now on both investigators, and we all know that will for Calvin is very weak at 1 die, but I can take a sanity to re-roll it. I at least have an ally who can handle that and recover sanity later, so maybe that's good. We'll see how this pans out. So here's the roll. Nice, we got a success. Thank goodness. That was the one character I was worried about. We got super lucky there. Now we're going to go over to Agnes, who has a will of 3, so she's a much better chance of dealing with this. Now again, after this, I could go ahead and spend a clue and just get rid of this rumor for good. I got 3 successes on that roll. That's insane. All 6s too. That's nuts. But the thing is, I have 2 clues now, and I can progress that ritual site story, and I don't want to waste that opportunity to be able to do that. So I'm going to hold off. And I guess now that the Reckoning has happened at the beginning of the round, I have many, many, many Mythos pulls before that'll come around again. So let's sit on it for now. Let's sit on it and see what happens. It's a little dangerous, but let's sit on it and see what happens. So I'm not going to go ahead and resolve it that way. We're going to go ahead next, and we're going to, let's see here. This is a Reckoning token, so we actually got to move over to Calvin. Calvin's got his Dark Pack, of course, so we got to deal with that. So I got to roll 1 die and see whether or not I don't land a 1, or I owe you guys something. Okay, I got a 3, so I'm safe. The Dark Pack still hasn't triggered, and I haven't let it trigger because I keep re-rolling with my voice of the messenger. And then until the end of time, I get to remove a health and a sanity from that, which is awesome. So Calvin's getting more and more prepared to take damage and sanity without being hurt, so that's great. I could even potentially start pulling some of stuff off Agnes now, actually, and loading that card up. That could be a worthwhile thing to do. Okay, so that's that. That is going to be the Reckoning token for all 4 different things. We did the Dark Pack, the Until the End of Time, we did the Rumor, and we did the Scenario Sheet. We're all squared away. The next token for Calvin is going to be blank. So nothing happens, which is always awesome. All right, Agnes, it's your turn now. Let's see what kind of tokens you get. So the first one for Agnes is blank. Nice. Second token is blank. Oh my gosh, I pulled 3 blanks. That's crazy. So nothing happens. We got a little bit of a break there. That's huge. Okay, so with that break, we're now going to move into the action phase of a brand new round. So I'm going to start off the action phase with Calvin. He's going to try to ward the 2 Doom away from the train station to calm down the north side. I don't want any anomalies there. So he's going to be going ahead doing a ward action, which is testing his lore. And when he's doing that, it is 5. So here we go, using his Spirit Dagger to boost that up. Yes, got 2. The Doom is gone. So those 2 Doom is removed, and he gains a Remnant token for clearing 2 or more Doom. He now has 4 Remnant tokens. He is now going to, with his second action, going to do a research action to get this clue that he has on him over to the scenario sheet. It says test observation to place clues. His observation is 3, so let's do a roll. 1 pass, that's all I needed, and this clue is going on the scenario sheet. So Agnes knows exactly what she wants to do. She wants to research so she can get her clue that she has currently on her onto this particular spot. But the thing is, she has a monster on her, the Eyeless Watcher, so she can't actually do that just yet. She has to deal with this monster first. This monster's being a pain, so we're gonna have to attack it. We have no other choice. It needs only 1 damage to die, so it shouldn't be too hard. We're gonna roll our regular strength. We may not even need to use or actually spend any remnants to roll any extra dice, but we're gonna go ahead and do this anyway. So here we go. Nice, 2 6s, that thing is out of here. So we went ahead and killed the Eyeless Watcher, so we'll gain a remnant, which is good for her. So she could definitely use more remnants. She has a total of 2 remnants now for later. Now that she's clear of monsters, and literally everybody's clear, we finally mitigated all the monsters, we're going to go ahead and do that research action. So we'll use our observation of 2. I just need 1 success. Nailed it. I got 2 5s. Perfect. So this clue is going on the sheet. The only downside is I can't actually initiate this right now because the ritual site itself says as an action you can remove 5 clues from the scenario to stop the ritual. If you do, remove the blue marker and flip this card. Perform this action only at the ritual site. So basically she's going to have to sit here for another turn and she has to be at that site to do the action, but we have no more actions to spend. One other thing I just remember with Agnes is we actually used her Wither spell another time after, and I should have gone ahead and taken another focus token because of the heirloom, and that was from a prior attack when I used the Wither spell. So I'm going to go ahead and grab another focus token. She can only have a focus token limit of 2 though. She currently has 1 for lore. So there's the focus limit of 2. And she has a +1 for lore already. So she can't gain another one for the same type of skill. But she could take one for a different type of skill. So her weakest one, that actually, you know what? Having her strength boost up might not be bad, seeing as she seems to be the one that going against monsters. And that might actually stop her from taking sanity damage. So I'm going to bump her strength up from 2 to 3. To make it a little stronger in that category. Monsters are now going to activate, so we actually legitimately only have 1 monster left on the board, the robed figure. So it's going to activate and move towards the unstable space, which is now the Arkham Advertiser, which is actually up close to where Calvin is. So this guy's going to move 2, so he's going to go from the unvisited isle to the streets, and he's only 1 away from Calvin. For this encounter phase, we can actually both do encounters, which is great. So Calvin's going to be able to go ahead and maybe get another clue at the north side. So let's see how that pans out. Yep, he's got a chance, and this could help us actually deal with this silly rumor that's been sitting around for so long. So he's at the train station. It says, you find a traveler looking confused and frightened. Test your influence. Well, he's got good influence. He's got 3, so that's pretty good. We're going to roll here. We got 1 success. That's all we needed. If you pass, your new friend asks you if you hear the music from beyond the stars and is relieved when you admit that you do. You gain 1 ally and 1 clue from your neighborhood. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Okay, so we're going to take that clue and we're also going to gain another ally. The ally that I gained is a police officer. Nice. Okay, after you defeat a monster as part of an attack action, you may research 1 clue. Wow, and he's a 4 health, 1 sanity. So now that we have 2 allies, I'm going to quickly check the rules to make sure that we're allowed to have more than 1 ally, or if we have to discard the other one that Calvin already has. Doesn't seem to be any restriction whatsoever on the number of allies you can have. The one thing that's really cool, though, is you can actually trade allies between your investigators as part of the trade action. So if I wanted to help out Agnes, maybe have somebody with some more sanity, I could hand her maybe the secretary, Zora, who has the ability to take on 2 sanity. And as an action, an investigator or an ally in her space can recover 1 sanity. So she actually, the secretary really needs to be on Agnes because of Agnes's ability to take or need to take sanity in order to cast her spells when she runs out of remnants and things like that. And she's also hurting for sanity just in general on her card. So that could this one here could really be useful for Agnes. So if I get a chance to trade that at some point, I'm going to do that. So now let's do an encounter for Agnes at Independence Square. Now there's no more clues here, so it'll just be regular encounters. A poor Dunwich family has parked their truck by the square and are selling old furniture and knickknacks out of the back. Most of what they have for sale is worn out and worthless, but a few objects look worthwhile. You may buy 1 common item from the display for half price. Here's the worst situation. She has no money, so she can't buy anything. So this is an encounter that would have been much better for Calvin, but is going to go to the bottom of the deck, the encounter deck, and that's pretty much it. Her encounter is over as she is very poor at this current stage in the game. Now we're heading back to the Mythos Cup. So we're going to find out what kind of insanity gets thrown at us this time. So last time we were really lucky. We got a lot of free ones there, and I don't think there's going to be many of those left over. So here we go. Calvin's going to go first this time. He's got himself a, not good. So let's grab the bottom card of the event deck and find out where that's going. Downtown, it's going in Independence Square. Oh, that's actually going exactly where Agnes is. Okay, interesting. So Agnes is going to have a Doom token show up where she is. So go ahead and place that there. I was kind of hoping that would be somewhere else with 2 so I could get a remnant, but not so much. So that one's been resolved. And Calvin's going to go after the next one. He's going to get a... this could be interesting. Let's see what we get here. So we got Miskatonic Museum Mystery. Item stolen from the rare exhibit. Police stumped. Crazed curator calls Kuro's cursed. Headline, test your will and resolve the effect based on your test result. Oh my gosh, if I get 0, I become cursed. If 1 to 2, I gain 1 Kuro item and become cursed. And if I get 3+, I gain 1 Kuro item. I think I'm in serious trouble here because his will's only 1. So I think I'm going to get cursed. No! Okay, so here we go. Well, I'm rolling 1, and really just depends on whether I become cursed or whether I get cursed and get a Kuro item. So really there's, ugh, gross. I just become cursed. Now I could go ahead right now and suffer a roll to get something else. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to suffer any horror right now in order to do that because I just don't see any reason to do that. Either way, I'm cursed, so there's no point. So I'm going to go ahead and take the cursed condition. This is the first time this has happened, guys. This is not good. What this means when you're cursed is you take these blessed cards right here and you flip them to the opposite side. The side that you don't want. You want the blessed side. It's a condition. It's called cursed, and it's not good at all. And it says, when resolving a test, only 6s count as successes. After you pass a test, discard this card. If you would become blessed, discard the card instead. So this is a cursed card. It's now going to sit in my area. And to remind myself that I'm cursed, I'm going to grab some special dice that I really was hoping not to see. And these are them. These are the cursed dice. They are red. They come from the old Arkham Horror game as well, because all these dice came from the original Arkham Horror game, and I definitely recommend you guys, if you're picking this game up, get the dice. It's so cool, because when you are cursed, you actually will remind yourself the fact you're cursed by rolling these red dice that only have another sign on the 6th side. If you're blessed, they're blue, and they have successes on 4, 5, and 6. So this is a great reminder. So I'm going to put these dice next to Calvin, because he'll be rolling those, at least until he finally passes a test. Then he can discard the curse condition. So it'll only affect him for 1 time, whereas I think in Eldritch Horror, a curse can sit with you for a long time if you are very unlucky. So we're now finished with that headline, so that thing can be discarded. I've already tossed that. And it wasn't a rumor, so it's a one-time resolve. We're going to grab 2 tokens for Agnes and see what we get. We got another newspaper headline, so let's see. This one says, occult activity threatens the city. So old house demolished after purchased by Silver Twilight Lodge. Workmen found sinister altar shrine. Look satanic, says one. So the headline is, you choose one. You either place 1 doom in your space. If you are in a street space, place the doom in an adjacent neighborhood instead, or you spawn a monster in your space. It engages you or another investigator in your space. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to put a doom down? Do I want to put a doom down, or do I want to put a monster down? A monster gums me up, a doom doesn't. Let's do the doom, because at this point we've done a pretty good job of mitigating the north side. So I'm going to put the doom token back there, which does kind of slow us down a bit because we might have to come back earlier. But at the same time, having another monster there is just no fun. I just don't want to have to be gummed up by... And who knows what the monster's going to be. That's the other side of it, too. The monster comes from the bottom of the monster deck. It could be really bad. So that's it. That one is resolved, and we're moving on. So that one can be discarded. I'm just going to do a quick double check to make sure. 2, 2, 2. Yeah, we have 1 more to pull. So 1 more to pull for Agnes, and let's do that right now. So the next token for Agnes is... Oh, another one of those ones. Okay, so we're going to grab this from the bottom of the event deck. Another spread doom. It's going to go to Easttown this time. And it's going to be on Hibbs Roadhouse. That's no good. So, let's see here. Yeah, that's actually bad. Oh, well, that's not too bad. Let's go take a look over there. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was. It's actually pretty clear sailing over there. So I'm actually not too sad about that situation. So 1 doom over there really isn't an issue, because there isn't any doom over there anyway. Could have gone somewhere else and caused a lot more problems, but that's pretty much it. So we've now finished the Mythos phase. We can go back to the actions phase, guys, and you know what I want to do right now, and that's going to be activate Agnes, and let's get this ritual site taken care of. So we're going to activate Agnes here. She's going to go ahead and do her action. One of her actions is going to be, you may remove 5 clues from the scenario to stop the ritual. If you do, please remove the blue marker and flip this card. Perform this action only at the ritual site. And she is there. So boom, this marker is off the board. Awesome. She's now going to go ahead and flip the ritual site card over. She also has to remove all the 5 clues from the scenario sheet. So those are gone. And put those over there. All right, let's see how this pans out. Now, what is on the other side of this ritual card, you wonder? It says, barrier destroyed. You break the last of the ritual circles and feel the magic of the place flare brightly and burn away. There's nothing left of the cult ritual but rotting meat and broken paraphernalia. But as you watch, bot flies land on the meat and wriggle into their maggot selves, then climb back into their eggs. Time is not amended, and the danger is not past. Grabbing hold of one of the surviving cultists, you extract some meaning from her mad ravings. This ritual was not the source of the disaster. It was only meant to keep you away from the place where Azathoth was summoned. The barrier is destroyed. Do not remove this card from the codex. Oh. Okay, that doesn't... It sounds good and bad. That doesn't sound good enough, though. So the barrier's destroyed. Okay, but I haven't figured it... So there's more to this. So we need to go back to these tokens again, I assume. So let's go back to the previous card that talks about the tokens and read a little bit about that. So what it shows here on the profane ritual is if we reveal markers that are white, you find nothing. You reveal blue, you add 6. Now that's what we just did. We revealed the blue, we found 6, we put the clues on it, we removed it. We didn't remove it, we dealt with it, I should say. The other one here says when you reveal the red marker, if the barrier is destroyed, add card 7 to the codex face down. So we need to find the red marker. We really do. So really it's kind of going to come down to what's closest to it. We need to start flipping these things like crazy. So we do have one that's actually right up here with Agnes. We have one that's right beside Calvin and Northside, and maybe that's going to be our objective going into the next one. So she's already used an action to do what she did in Independence Square. But I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her go over to Velma's Diner. So she's going to go 1-2 for her other action, and she'll be there. She can pay money to heal health, but again, she has $0, so that's really not a great place for her to be. I know it's off camera right now. I'm going to resituate this, but her turn's done. We're going to head over to Calvin and see what he can do. All right, so let's get Calvin as close to this marker as we can. So I would love to go ahead and take out this robed figure, but I don't have anything that can do range. I know that Agnes has an ability with her shriveling to do range, but I can't do anything with that robed figure, so I'm going to have to leave it alone. I don't want to go through them. I don't want to do anything like that. I'd rather just head up to the Arkham Advertiser and deal with the token here. But if I move one, I can actually do one more action. And this is where I'm wondering, what, because here's a couple actions I could do. So Zora says an investigator or an ally in your space recovers 1 sanity. So an investigator, it literally says in brackets, you are an investigator in your space. So Zora can actually heal me, which is cool. What I could do also is I can also spend an action from Calvin and you may exchange any amount of health and or sanity with another investigator or ally. Now, how I'm reading this is... Yeah, that's crazy. So I could take on some of her sanity damage to keep her from dying in case something like that happened. I'm going to do that, I think. And you know what? When I do it, because my until the end of time card is completely open, I can drop some of that damage and sanity on there. So right now, my until the end of time card has a 1 sanity on it. I'm going to grab 1 sanity from Agnes, and I'm going to take... well, maybe I'll take 2 sanity from her. 1 sanity and 1 health. And maybe that's as much as I'll do for her, because the rest would hurt me. Although I do have allies that I could dump that extra sanity on to help her out. Yeah, what the heck. And I still have Zora on my side. So you know what? I'm going to grab Agnes's... So I'm using my last action to call... It's called Friend Indeed. So you may exchange any amount of health and or sanity with another investigator or ally in any space. Literally anywhere. So Agnes has 4 sanity, 1 health. I'm going to take 2 sanity, and 1 health. All right, or 1 I keep calling it health, but it's damage. So There we go. And I've gone ahead and situated on the cards. I'm going to flip you guys over to that particular side of Calvin so you can see exactly where I put them. So there was one sanity on the Until the End of Time card, and I just went ahead and put a sanity and a health from Agnes. I pulled those from her, and then I also pulled another sanity and put it on Zora. And the only reason I didn't put it on the cop is because if the cop takes the sanity, I lose it immediately, and I don't want to lose it. So that's that, and that's a huge help. Calvin's finally actually pulling his weight there and giving Agnes a helping hand. Okay, so now it's time for the monster phase, and we're going to activate it, and it's going to, the unstable space is Hibbs Roadhouse. So the rogue figure is going to stop moving to where it was headed, and it's going to actually head back this way. So we'll have it move 1 to the Unvisited Isle, and then up here to the streets as it makes its way back over to Hibbs Roadhouse. There's no other engaged investigators anywhere else, so that's over with. The encounter phase is next, so let's do an encounter for, Calvin. Remember, though, Calvin has been cursed, so this is probably not going to go so well from him. He's at the Arkham Advertiser, so it's from the north side. Let's grab a card from there. Editor Doyle doesn't seem interested in your story. That's page 5 stuff at best, he growls. If it bleeds, it leads. You may spend 1 remnant to give him something worthy of the front page. If you do, he claps you on the back, saying, "Don't bury the ledge next time." You gain $3. So this would give him more money. I guess I have 4 remnant tokens. I don't really plan on using all of them, so what the heck. Let's get some more money for Calvin. It can't hurt. But I didn't even have to roll a die there, so I guess I won't have any chance of getting rid of my cursed thing. So I'm going to use one of the 4 remnant tokens I have on Calvin. I'm going to ditch that, and it's going to gain me $3. So it's getting richer by the second. So Calvin now has $10 to his name. He hasn't really been able to, or hasn't needed to spend any of it because of the amount of stuff he's currently got on him. And that's going to resolve that encounter. And now we're going to go over to Agnes. Agnes is at Velma's Diner. She's going to go ahead and take an encounter card for East Town. Let's see what happens. The patron in the next booth is drawing bizarre and disturbing icons in the margins of a newspaper. Either test your observation to covertly analyze the doodles or spend $1 to purchase the newspaper. Well, I don't even have $1 to my name, so I don't even know what I'm doing in a diner in the first place. Poor Agnes doesn't have $1 to her name. She can't afford anything in there, so she's going to have to just stare at people awkwardly. So she's going to go ahead with her observation, which is a 2, and she's going to roll away. That is a pass. Wow. Don't know how that happened. It says, if you pass or spend money, the arcane images fortify your spirit against dark forces. You become blessed. Agnes has become blessed for not having a dime to her name. See, good things can happen out of nowhere, and now she is going to have the ability to use blue dice. It's a good day for her. She no longer needs these ones. She's going to be rolling these dice in the future, which have 4, 5, and 6 as a success. Is basically a 50-50 roll, which is awesome. So I'm going to remove all those black dice for now because, well, she won't be rolling any of them. The other condition here on the Blessed card states that if you fail a test, you discard this card, and if you would become cursed, discard this card. So once we fail with our Blessed dice, we lose it. So we never want to fail. We want to avoid failing. Blessed dice are amazing. So that actually worked out really, really well. So those are the encounters, and now we're going to move to the Mythos phase. Let's start it off with Agnes and see what she gets. Very first token out of the bag. Oh, not good. Going to the bottom of the monster deck to find out what monster we have here in store for Agnes. It is the Hooded Stalker. Not good at all. It says spawn at the most doom. Who has the most doom? Oh, that's going to be down at the graveyard in the anomaly area. I guess in a way it's actually not a bad thing because it's as far away from her as possible, but that's not good. This thing's a hunter, and it says move toward and engage the lowest strength. That is not good. So basically it says if there happened to be anything on any of these cards ever that says prey, like it talks about prey as in P-R-E-Y, then it's talking about the investigator that pulled the token. So in this case, it's just a hunter, but we're done. It just spawns with the most doom, and that's it. So this has the most doom, 3 right there. Done. That token is resolved. And we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to move on to the next token from the bag. It couldn't be smooth sailing forever, that's for sure. So here we go. Next one is, a gate burst. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a real big problem. So we're going to take the top card of the event deck and place a doom in every single place in the neighborhood. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Merchant District. Let's head there and find out what kind of nastiness awaits. Well, this is going to cause some serious problems. So one Doom token at every area here at the Merchant District is definitely going to cause issues. So the first one's going to go to the River Docks, and as you can see, it is 4 total. The next one, even if I wanted to try to avoid an anomaly, can't be stopped, because if I put it here, anomaly occurs. If I put it here, anomaly occurs. So I'll just put it here, boom, anomaly occurs regardless. All right, so that's going to place an anomaly token right here. Now, this is where it gets nasty. The anomaly token's placed, and we still have to place one more Doom token, but we're not allowed to place it here anymore. It has to go to the scenario sheet, and you know exactly what that means. Deja Vu is going to flip. There we have it. The 3 Doom is finally on the scenario sheet. So Deja Vu states at the very bottom of the card that when there is 3 or more Doom on the scenario sheet, flip this card. Let's find out what we have in store. All right, time to look at the backside of the Deja Vu card and see what we got. So it says, strange things are happening all over Arkham. People from the distant past walk down the streets, wandering at the unusual buildings. Events happen out of order. The dates on editions of the Arkham Advertiser seem to be chosen at random. Robed figures dart in and out of the shadows, and to your dismay, you think that you are being followed. Reveal cards from the bottom of the monster deck until you reveal Occultist monster. Spawn it in a street space nearest the leader and put the rest on top of the deck in a random order. And then add card 5 to the codex and return this card to the archive. Not good. So now we're going to reveal cards from the bottom of the monster deck until we find a cultist monster. That's the first thing we need to do. So first one is a Swift. That's not it. And Occult Ritualist. That is going to be it. The cultist keyword's up there. So this is the one we're going to be putting into play. Then we're going to go ahead, it says here to put the rest on top of the deck in a random order. Well, we only pulled one, so we got the monster deck all sorted out. I'll put that aside. We're going to be placing this monster, it says, in the street space nearest the leader, and then we'll be moving on to actually adding a card to the codex as well. So this is going to go in either this space or this space. If I put it here and it adds a Doom token, it would drop it here. So that's okay. Or here, I could do the same thing over here. So let's go ahead and put it here. Actually, yeah, let's put it here. Let's put it here for now. So I can maybe get close to it and just deal with it really fast. If I put it here, it's a further distance away. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'd have to use a full move in either case. We got to also add codex card number 5 into the pile here. So let's go find 5. Here we go. We're going to read this and see what this is all about. So it says, Time Unstuck. I'm going to read this card and tell you guys what happens here. Through all the odd occurrences, a sense of rising dread fills the air. The people, the ones from the proper time, scurry from door to door, unwilling to be out under the gunmetal sky. Window shades are drawn and businesses close early. As fluid as time is, you seem to be running out of it. When there are 3 or more clues on the scenario sheet, add card 4 to the codex. Do not remove this card from the codex. So, as of right now, I already have that dealt with because I broke the barrier, I think, because card 4 is already out. And it says underneath of it, when there is 7 or more Doom on this scenario sheet, add cards 8 and 9 to the codex and return this card to the archive. So, we have quite a bit of time before the bottom one triggers, but you can see here at the beginning it says when there are 3 or more clues on the scenario sheet, add card 4. Well, card 4 is already out because we did a separate path. So we're already good there because we were ahead of the game, but now really the only one we have to worry about now is the nasty bottom one, which is probably going to be like an end of game state. Like this is probably the last ditch time frame to get this thing done. It has 3 Doom tokens on the scenario sheet so far. If there's ever 7 or more, then we got to add cards 8 and 9 in, which we've never put in yet. So we don't want that to happen. But we have now finally finished this nasty token for Agnes, and her resolving of the Mythos Cup is done. We'll move over to Calvin, and hopefully it's not that bad. Now it's Calvin's time to go into the bag and find something good. First one out, Clue Token. Not bad at all. So we'll take the top card of the event deck, which is the north side. It just happens to be where he is. And we're going to shuffle this into the top 2 cards of the north side deck. And we'll put a Clue Token over there too. So that's good. I don't know if I necessarily need a clue because Calvin actually has 1 clue already to spend. We're actually waiting for the next Reckoning token to pop because then I can get rid of a Rumor if I manage to not get destroyed by it. So I've gone ahead and shuffled those cards together, put those back on top of the north side deck, so the clue one's mixed in the top 3 now, and we're going to take a clue icon and drop it on the north side to let us know there's one there. That's it for that token, so that was pretty easy. Next token up is, another one of those. So we're going to grab the, we're going to go to the bottom of the event card deck and pull a card out. It is Rivertown. Nasty. I don't want to see this. And where's the icon? It's at the graveyard. There already is one at the graveyard. So guys, we just added another Doom to the scenario sheet. So as you can see, we cannot add a Doom token to the graveyard because we already have an anomaly here. We have an anomaly here inside of Rivertown. We also have an anomaly just over here in the Merchant District, which is really all the south side neighborhoods are right now being affected pretty badly. So this Doom token is going right on the scenario sheet. We now have 4 there. And remember, if we get 7, the Time Unstuck card, which we talked about earlier, is going to flip, and we do not want that. Actually, I shouldn't say it's going to flip. It's actually going to be adding of cards 8 and 9 to this codex, which I'm sure is not going to be pleasant. So we've gone ahead and we resolved that particular token, and we can move on with the next round. So right at the gate here, we have Calvin in the north side. I don't really need to spend any more time up here. I should probably go down to maybe one of the other neighborhoods that's affected by anomalies and try to get rid of some of the doom there. But first, we want to go ahead and take an action here to deal with this token and this marker and find out what's there. Nothing. So we know whites are nothing, so there's literally nothing there. I'll just leave it there. It's already been resolved, but essentially there's nothing there. I'm going to take a look to see if we remove it from the game board. Discard the marker. Yeah, so there's literally nothing there. So that was a swing and a miss. But we know it's not there now. So now maybe I'll head down to the anomaly area south of us. I'm going to go... Actually, I'll move the camera just a bit. We're going to spend a little cash and see if we can get into a spot that makes the most sense. So from where Calvin is, way up at the Arkham Advertiser, he's going to spend 1 action to go 1 and 2, getting him to the city, or the street space, sorry. And then he's going to go ahead and he can spend up to $2 to move up to 2, but he's also kind of wants to be here to check this one. So I'll just spend $1 to get to the Unvisited Isle, and I'm happy just being there. So that'll be good. I can kind of ward away some doom. I also can do an encounter here at the anomaly, and hopefully I can kind of start to wane away at that. That's going to be the end of his turn. Let's go over to Agnes and see if she gets lucky. The first thing I want Agnes to do is check that marker. Nice! We got the red one. Perfect. Okay, what does that mean? So it says, when you reveal the red marker, if the barrier is destroyed, add card 7. Okay, let's find card 7. The barrier is destroyed. If you guys remember, we paid all those clues to destroy that barrier, which is coming back to be good for us now. Hopefully this actually works out. Do we have to do anything else? It also said at the bottom of the profane ritual, though, we don't want to miss this, it says, if both the blue and red markers have been revealed, remove all other markers from the board and return this card to the archive. So basically 4 goes back to the archive. We no longer need it. We also, I'm going to do this off camera, but every other token like this in the entire game is going to be removed now. We found the blue and we found the red. So all the other ones have to be white. So we're just going to take them and remove them away. That was very lucky because the other 2 were in anomaly neighborhoods, which could have been really bad. The 7 card is being added to the codex, so let's find out exactly what that entails. A swirling storm flickers in the sky, twisting first one way and then the other, as time reverses course over and over again. This must be the epicenter of the temporal disturbances. As you approach, the air grows thicker and thicker until it is as hard and unyielding as glass. An unseen force forbids you from the epicenter of the disturbance, and none of your usual counter magics or tricks erode it 1 iota. You'll have to find some other way past. The space with the red marker is the epicenter. For the time being, a magical barrier prevents you from entering the area. Each investigator at the epicenter must move 1 space away. Investigators cannot move to the epicenter until the barrier is destroyed. Ha! We've already destroyed the barrier. When the barrier is destroyed, flip this card. Ha! Nice. So I guess I'll just leave the red token there because we already did. That's actually awesome. We actually did the work ahead of time, which is phenomenal because we can just flip this card right from this side right over to the other and see how this goes. Okay, it's called the Distortion's Epicenter. So the back of the card looks like this now with an action on the back. Let's see what happens. So the reason for the temporal distortions distortion, sorry, is now clear. The enormous mass of the blind idiot god Azathoth is pulling the threads of space and time out of order, even in advance of his arrival. Because Azathoth will appear in the future, space and time are warping the present, and the demon sultan's arrival is nigh. You need to reverse the cult ritual that summoned Azathoth in order to ward the outer god away. You can only do it where it all began, at the Epicenter. The space with the red marker is the Epicenter, so Velma's Diner. As an action, you may remove 3 clues from the scenario to erect a protective ward over Arkham. If you do, read the back of card 5. Perform this action only at the Epicenter. Well, that, my friend, changes everything. We need to get 3 clues, and as of right now, Calvin has 1 on him, so that's good news. I can research that onto the scenario card. We have another clue that's in the north side, which should be easy to grab. So I'm going to probably have Calvin go back to the north side, but I have to wait until the next turn because he activated first, which sucks. But in terms of Agnes, she technically has 1 more action remaining, and I can have her head down to the anomaly-infested Rivertown, where there is 1 clue on the anomaly, and that literally is the only other clue on the board currently. So we have to go after where those clues are, but remember, I can't go after that clue until the anomaly and doom's been removed, so I gotta do some serious work over there. So hopefully I get lucky in the clues at the top of the deck for Calvin, but it looks like this adventure is not over yet. Alright, so Agnes is up here at Velma's Diner. I want to use some movement to get her out of there. The terrible thing is she doesn't have any money, so as far as I can get her is literally just to the streets, which is too bad because she's not even going to be able to get to a spot to use her actions as good as she could have. And we got the hooded stalker here, which is going to cause her problems because it's going to end up going and hunting and moving towards the person with the lowest combat, which is definitely her. It's not the worst thing in the world, though. We should be able to handle it. But yeah, we're going to have some friends coming towards us regardless. So the monster phase begins. We have a robed figure who's moving towards the unstable space. The unstable space right now is the river docks. River docks, where are you? You are... Where is the river docks? Oh my gosh, it's actually heading straight through Calvin over to the opposite side. That's not good. So this robed figure is going to move into the unvisited aisle, and when it moves into a space with an investigator, it immediately engages that investigator and is going to deal 1 damage to him. Not good because the poor guy's cursed too, so that doesn't help things. So we're going to go ahead and grab a health damage. Can I put this on anything else? I could put health damage on my ally, my secretary ally. I could do that. So I'll put that on her. She's got the ability to take 2 of either health and sanity, and right now she has 1 of each now that I've just put a damage on her too. I keep saying health, by the way, guys. I'm sorry about that. I mean damage, like actual health damage. So basically, that guy's engaged with him now. That's no fun. And the other monster on the board is the Hooded Stalker, which is going to kind of go after Agnes at this point. So the Hooded Stalker over here is going to go ahead and activate and move up to 2. It's a hunter, and it's going to move toward and engage the lowest strength character. So it's going to go after Agnes regardless. It's going to flip over, become engaged, and it's going to hit her for 1. And now it's going to be here causing her grief as well. So 1 damage for her, which is unfortunate. So let's see here. We'll put the 1 there. Okay, so we put 1 damage at the top of her card, just so you guys are aware too. This is her current state of health. She is a 6/6. She's got 1 health damage and 2 sanity, so not doing too bad. And now we've got all of our investigators are engaged at this point. The monster phase is now done, and we can move to our encounters. But guess what? We don't do encounters because all of our investigators are engaged, so we skip right to the Mythos phase. We'll kick things off here with Calvin for the Mythos phase, so we're going to go ahead and reach in, grab a token. Not good. Another monster being spawned. So let's see where this is going to go. Oh no. The Ravenous Predator. This does not sound good. Okay, so first off it says spawn at the unstable space. We know that's the river docks. Oh my gosh, it's going to be right beside him. So they're this is stressful. It's stressful. It's getting a little bit aggressive here. Okay, so he just spawned there. At least he doesn't engage me or do anything yet. Oh, wow. When he activates later on, he's going to move directly 2, and engage the lowest will. So he's going after Calvin no matter what, because Calvin's will is only 1. So he's coming after him when he activates later on. But that token's now been resolved. That was nasty. Let's go ahead and pull the next token. Clue token. Hey, maybe we'll get a clue in a space that's not full of monsters and death. We got it at... Nope, not our luck. We got it at the Merchant District. Not fun. So we're going to take... And again, it's right here. There's an anomaly here. So yes, it'll go there, but I cannot go after that until the anomaly is removed. So now I have a clue. And I'm also going to place, just so you guys know, this card in the top 2... Take the top 2 off the merchant deck, shuffle it in, and we already put the clue marker there. But this is what's nasty, is now we have a clue sitting on anomaly in the merchant district, one in the river town, and then a free one up there at the north side. So north side's the easy one. I gotta go after that at some point. But maybe I should have both my investigators go after the toughest ones. Just clear the area instead of running away. I don't know. It's so tough, such a tough call. All right, so we put that clue in, and that token has been resolved. All right, Agnes, the Mythos cup is completely empty, so we got to put all the tokens back inside for you, and you're going to resolve 2 tokens. We're going to cross our fingers that they're not bad, because at this point it could literally be anything, and that's always scary. So here we go. Pulling out of the bag, the first one. Oh, not good. Another one of those Doom tokens. So the bottom card of the event deck is going to come out, and what is it going to be? The Black Cave. No, the Black Cave is right here, which means that's another Doom token being placed on the scenario sheet, pushing it up to 5. Oh man, things are getting so close now. I'm actually getting concerned. Stress is mounting. And we just pulled another monster. Are you serious? Wow. Talk about a turn of events. Things look so good, and then things started going downhill so fast. Oh my gosh, another hooded stalker. Spawn at the place with the most doom. It's gonna go right here. They're loving us right now. That's craziness. Okay, and we now have resolved the Mythos phase. And guys, this is where we're going to stop. I know we're really close to the very end, but I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger because I don't know how this is going to end, but I want your thoughts on what we should do next. This is a bird's eye view of basically the neighborhoods and the doom situation on each of them. We've got a clue token here that we can go after, a clue here, but an anomaly we have to deal with, as well as all the doom here. Of course, we have to deal with the doom first, then the anomaly goes, and then we can go after the clue. We will have to do anomaly encounters. We can't do clue encounters at places like this. We got monsters we have to deal with. We have doom starting to mount up in the downtown area. Let's head over to the right-hand side of the board and see what that looks like. And this is what the other side of the board looks like. We have over here Rivertown, which has an anomaly and a clue as well. So guys, where do we go for our clues? What do you think is best? Now, first off, we should probably have Agnes go in here. Reason being, we need to clear at least one of the anomalies to stop doom from mounting on the sheet. If we do not deal with at least one of these, the odds are way against us. This is a bad area right now, and I could have her go in here and ward away 3 doom in like 1 hit, hopefully, if she could potentially do that. And then also hopefully have encounters here, anomaly encounters to get through this one pretty quickly. So she's got a really good chance of doing that because her ward action tests her lore, and her lore is really high with 5. So she's got a really good chance of warding away some stuff there. Calvin, on the other hand, is not the greatest. Actually, well, Calvin's got a ward of 5 too, so he's got potential. He could ward away the other anomaly and work on that clue, or he could be really, really greasy and run this far away over to the north side and go after the clue that's kind of free, like has way less issues going on. Now, again, both of us have monsters on us now, so we have to focus on that fact as well. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below all your thoughts about what we should do next. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Literally, this game has been a roller coaster in this particular video of feeling really good to going right down the dumps. I felt like things were turning around, and we actually progressed the story a lot in this video, but the doom progressed so fast, even though we were progressing the story quickly as well. And the game is very, very well balanced. That's one thing I'm noticing about this really, really off the get-go, is as random as Arkham Horror has the elements of randomness in it, there's a really smart design here that no matter where you go, and you can go on a run there where you feel very, very confident about things, and then the next minute things just go completely upside down and it balances itself right back out again. And now we're right back into that tension-filled type gameplay where it's like, hey, we're 2 doom away from another card flipping, and who knows if that's going to end the scenario on us or not. And we're also technically 1 potential ritual or barrier closing, or I should say epicenter closing area away from potentially winning the game. If we can distort or destroy the epicenter, we can actually defeat Azathoth, which would be insane. So it's crazy, the back and forth nature of this game. I'm really enjoying that. So hopefully you guys will join me in what will be definitely the finale, which is the next video. Thank you guys for all your support, and as always, keep on rolling solo.